I'm your host, Annie Bowles, and this is News du Jour. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the News du Jour. So really quickly, before we launch into the news for today, I wanted to remind you guys that there will be no News du Jour this Monday as it is Labor Day. So I will be off just like everybody else. If there's ever a day that you're like, where's the News du Jour? Why isn't it up? Check the calendar first before you DM me and ask where it is, because most likely it's a bank holiday. Anywho, we have a lot of great news to go over, some interesting stuff going on in the world, so let's get into it. For our first story, we're discussing the UN. The UN is super busy right now, you guys. First up, they are over in China, or at least reporting on China. So if you guys remember, in China, there's this population of ethnic Muslims called Uyghurs. And it has long been rumored that essentially a genocide has been quietly playing out against these Uyghurs and at the hands of the Chinese government. We've covered it before on here, but things like forced sterilizations, disappearances, jailing people en masse, and tons of human rights abuses are going down against this population. And, you know, in an effort, it seems to kind of like erase these people, the Chinese government is seemingly systematically harming them. And now the rumors got to be so bad that the UN decided to get involved and develop an in-depth report on the situation. It came out yesterday, and let's just say China is not thrilled. They tried to block and delay this report from coming out, but it essentially details the forced detention of over 1 million Uyghurs who were forced to denounce their religion and swear fidelity to the Communist Party. All manner of human rights abuses have been found to have occurred within these centers, including beatings, completely unhygienic living conditions, separation of children from their parents, sexual assaults, and, as widely reported on, forced sterilizations. The report stopped short of using the G word, genocide, but the picture is actually more bleak than even previous speculation had led us to believe. So what's to be done about this? I mean, it's China. We've always known they've had tons of human rights abuses, and this is just, the latest sort of development with that. And ultimately, it's up for the UN to potentially take some action, but individual nations may choose to respond with measures like sanctions and other more symbolic moves, like uninviting China to geopolitical meetings, etc. So we'll just have to wait and see. To some extent, these things were already happening in terms of sanctions and excluding China from conferences. So, I don't know what steps will be taken, but if they are taken, we'll be sure to let you guys know. And then the UN is over in Ukraine. So the UN is also the one who is inspecting the power plant in Ukraine. If you don't know about that, then definitely go back and listen to yesterday's episode for a recap on that. But it's basically an inspection that's underway on a power plant in the middle of the war zone. So that inspection is ongoing right now. So definitely stay tuned for more info on that. And for our next story, what the fuck are whippets. Okay, so there's a new drug sweeping through the teen population called whippets. Actually, I say that it's new, but it's essentially laughing gas being used kind of in a new way. Teenagers are using whipped cream canisters to get high by inhaling the gas used to propel the whipped cream. They simply buy whipped cream from the grocery store and then use that little canister inside to get high. As a result, some states are already beginning to put whipped freaking cream behind over 21 labels, if you can believe that. That's how prevalent this problem is becoming. The thing is, though, as funny as this trend may seem, it's actually pretty dangerous. Side effects of this drug can be confusion, dizziness, nausea, fainting, hallucinations, even suffocation, heart attacks, and death. And if you think about it, 16 and 17 and 18-year-olds, they can drive. So we don't want them getting behind the wheel when they're high on something like this. There also could be long-term effects on the brains, especially of children, as their brains are still developing. These effects have not been studied in depth, it doesn't seem, so we really don't know to what extent these kids could be damaging their brains forever. If you're the parent of a teenager, here are some signs to look out for. It's lack of coordination, distorted speech, numbness, cognitive problems, and weakness or hallucinations. Also, be on the lookout for these little silver canisters lying around your kid's room or any space that they occupy, their car, etc., because that's actually what the gas is in a lot of the time, is these little silver canisters. They almost look like a tiny little milk bottle. But they're silver. Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys the heads up on those so you know what to look for with your kid. And for our next story, Serena Williams is ending her legendary tennis career. So, as we've shared on our Instagram, and frankly, the whole world has been buzzing about, Serena Williams is wrapping up her legendary tennis career right now at the US Open. She actually won her first Grand Slam there back in 1999 and is still taking the lead today in 2022. She just beat out the number 2 in the tournament, Annette Conviet, and now she will proceed to the third round. We'll definitely keep you guys posted on her progress. And for our final story today, California is taking aggressive steps towards a safer climate. So the state of California is not playing around, you guys. They're getting their butt into gear when it comes to the climate, and I have to say, I'm into it. Their goal is to be releasing 0 carbon dioxide by the year 2045. They are making stark cuts to oil and gas drilling in the state, keeping their last nuclear power plant open, and committing $54 billion to fight climate change. This comes, of course, as the Biden administration has just pledged $370 billion to fighting climate change as well. But experts pretty much unanimously say that even this amount will likely not be enough to curb all the greenhouse gas emissions by 2050, which is really the only way to prevent the most catastrophic events of climate change. As we can all pretty blatantly see, severe weather events are already on the rise and killing people world over at rates in the thousands. Hopefully, some of this funding can help us find real answers, perhaps in the form of technology to remove carbon from the atmosphere. We'll see, and we'll definitely keep you guys posted. And that is the news du jour. Today, I wanted to leave you guys with the quote, "Don't go chasing butterflies. Build a garden and they'll come to you." If you enjoyed this episode, please consider becoming a patron of our podcast. For $7.99 a month, you can unlock tons of perks like breaking news text messages so that you're never out of the loop. Tons of bonus episodes are already up there ready for you to binge, and a discussion board full of networking opportunities and much more. Go to www.patreon.com/sugarfree media today to become a patron. This is the best way to support our show. Our patrons make News du Jour possible. But a couple other ways to support our podcast are rate and review on whatever podcast platform you use to listen, share on your social media, you have influence, tell your friends, family, and colleagues that you love News du Jour and why you listen. You can also follow us on social media under sugarfreemedia.co on Instagram, just sugarfreemedia, all one word, on TikTok, and sugarfree_media on Twitter. We also have a weekend newsletter called Dreamers Digest that's full of dreamy content recommendations for your weekend and a life update from yours truly. Sign up today on our website, www.sugarfreemedia.co. Our music is by Joey Lavoie and Nicholas Foster. Our cover art is by Hannah Pierce Photography. Our Sugar Free Media logo is by Catherine Jezik Designs. Any twinkling or little footsteps you might hear in the background are by my dog, Rhett. He's a rescue pup and always records with me. We appreciate you listening and look forward to telling you about the news again next time on News du Jour.
Broadcasting from Oklahoma.